Relentless forces of winter. Floods, extreme cold.
It's horrendous. It's terrible.
Record-breaking snowfall. A visit from the polar vortex in a twisted wrath of Mother Nature.
It's definitely going to be changing what we need to do every year to prepare.
It started so quietly.
This is beautiful.
Only to wake up Old Man Winter with a vengeance. Bringing those blankets of white, bone-chilling temperatures.
No one around here has ever seen it come over the wall before.
And swiftly rising water. Relentless, a winter to remember.
Welcome to Relentless, a winter to remember. Well, this last April snow is a good reminder of what this winter has been. Relentless. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nina Sperano.
And I'm John Erickson. Over this next half hour, we'll be talking about this winter's biggest headlines. The snow, the cold, the flooding, that deadly pileup on I-41. But we start here with Chief Meteorologist Cameron Moreland.
Where was winter? It's safe to say no one was dreaming of a brown Christmas. But by late January, Mother Nature woke up dumping 12 inches of snow across parts of northeast Wisconsin. And then the snow just kept coming and coming. Then the cold. By the end of January, wind chills dropped into the 50s below zero, and temperatures were in the 20s below zero, the coldest in 23 years. In February, snow totals we haven't seen in nearly 130 years. Over 2 feet of snow for Green Bay. In Appleton, over 29 inches, the most snow on record for the month of February. By March 1st, more snow and more sub-zero temperatures. Then Mother Nature does a 180, bumping temperatures up and melting the snow as quickly as it fell, bringing the worst flooding on record in spots. Wow, when Old Man Winter awakened from his slumber, he really let us have it. It was the 36th coldest and the 12th snowiest winter on record. Definitely a relentless winter to remember.
This winter will be remembered for generations.
Stacey Engelbretson is showing us the impact it had on so many of us.
The winter of 2018-19 felt like the winter that just wouldn't quit. Storm after storm.
Kind of a pain to dig out of.
This was the scene a lot this winter. Snow, cleanup, repeat.
Man, I think almost every day this week I shoveled something or another.
Slick roads led to thousands of crashes, slide-offs, and tow bans.
I got no traction, even with my truck with four-wheel drive.
Plow drivers stretched to their limits, working overtime, just trying to keep up.
Usually 20 to 30 hours isn't uncommon, so it can be quite a long shift.
The harsh winter strained city and county budgets and even left Appleton with a road salt shortage. Right now, they're only able to salt main roads, hills, and bridges.
Sort of out of our control, but we're going to make the best of it and do what we can.
The relentless winter also caused problems in the skies, delaying and canceling flights.
The fact that there's a snowstorm and delays on the day that we're going is a little bit unsettling.
Schools across northeast Wisconsin also had cancellations and delays. So many, in fact, students are now having to make up missed classroom time. Districts have added minutes to the school days or even extra days of instruction to the calendar. And with winter weather now extending into April, who knows? More school snow days may be in our future. Stacey Engelbretson, NBC 26.
After running a snowfall deficit or experiencing a snow drought for most of November, December, and January, Mother Nature turned on the snow guns the third week of January and turned northeast Wisconsin into a winter wonderland. We had significant snow every week or every other week from the third week of January through February into the first week of March, including the fifth biggest single-day January snowstorm on record. Now, we didn't have any record snowstorms during the month of February, but the snow continued to pile up. In fact, we had our snowiest February in 129 years across most of northeast Wisconsin. Appleton had the snowiest February on record with 29.4 inches. Now, as of today, we have picked up 74 inches of snow this winter/snow season. That is 2 feet above normal, making this the 12th snowiest winter/snow season on record.
When severe weather strikes, many of us can just grab a shovel to dig out or run to the store and get extra supplies. But for the elderly or the disabled, a tough winter can be especially difficult when you have to depend on others.
When you live alone, a hard winter can be isolating, lonely, even dangerous.
People are depending on us to show up, and sometimes we're the only person they see that day.
Dave Passarelli with Homebound Meals delivers a hot meal to those who can't leave home on their own.
Every day, you know, whatever route you're on, the people are going to be so grateful to see you at the door.
People like Colleen Myers.
Hello. Hi.
Her COPD makes it difficult to get around without help, so this daily meal delivery service is critical.
I panic because, like, if something would happen, what am I going to do?
Homebound Meals closed 3 days this winter due to cold and snow, forcing people like Colleen to live off what's left in their pantry.
If it wasn't for Homebound Meals, I don't know where I'd be, because I can't get out and go to the store.
Just like this, we're all set.
Homebound Meals and their team of 100 volunteers keep moving forward, regardless of a relentless winter.
It feels like a privilege to be able to do this, because it's like a job that has a good reward.
Being dependable for those who depend on you.
If you live alone, you kind of look forward to it. You know, they'll sit there and chit-chat for a little bit, and it lights up the day a little bit sometimes.
With this past February, the second snowiest on record in Green Bay, we wanted to get a look at the snowiest ever. Well, we got this close. We do have a picture and some other snapshots of winters past in Green Bay. This was the Green Bay winter after that snowiest February on record. A horse-drawn carriage ride along Monroe Avenue. Imagine still traveling like this. Then here was February 1922. According to records from the Neville Public Museum's collection, this streetcar was abandoned along Velp Avenue after a heavy blizzard. As far as spring storms, this was 1929, end of March into early April. A look at downtown Green Bay along Walnut Street. A storm dropped nearly 17 inches of snow. And here's even more snow during what's now spring break time. A 7-foot snowman in early April 1977.
And up next, we're going sub-zero, back to our winter days of mind-numbing cold.
The deafening silence of extreme cold.
I'd say every hour you need to warm up for at least 15 minutes to get yourself warm.
Relentlessly stinging your skin, negative temperatures, negative wind chills.
Now to the brutal cold, negative temperatures, and sub-zero wind chills in the double digits.
Eric Crest remembers.
Just 2 weeks into February, it already felt like the winter that wouldn't give up.
Sometimes, you know, you're like, okay, you're getting paid back for all of the nice mild winters we had. So we're making up for it this year.
Now at this time across our region, we were on the receiving end of upwards of 16 inches of snow that all fell in just 2 days. A serious pain for everyone who had to move it.
If folks think they're sick of the snow, just imagine how the individuals who are responsible for plowing it feel.
But this patch of problems didn't just sneak up on us. On January 31st, the standard was already set when we were dealt the coldest weather our region has experienced in 23 years.
This is honestly one of the coldest days yesterday and today that I've ever experienced as a tow truck operator. Even our trucks are breaking down. We just had one break down right now.
During this cold snap, it felt like negative 40 degrees outside when you factored in the wind chill, a temperature that took its toll on many people's vehicles and spirits.
People's cars just don't start in this kind of weather.
A little tiny donut tire. Just keep it in the garage, hunker down, don't go to work, call in. Stay home.
But here in Northeast Wisconsin, we're resilient, at least as resilient as the winter that wouldn't stop. And when you start factoring in the lessons learned from another tough winter fight, you often find the light at the end of the tunnel.
That means more shoveling for me.
It's light and fluffy, luckily, so, you know, it ain't too bad to shovel out. You know, you're still halfway young like me, so.
Keeping you connected, I'm Eric Crest with NBC 26.
After much above normal temperatures for December and the first part of January, Mother Nature flipped the switch on our winter during the second half of the month as the polar vortex dropped south out of Canada. We had temperatures that were running 25 to 35 degrees below zero. It was our coldest Arctic outbreak since 1996. In fact, we had 65 straight hours with temperatures that stayed below zero, and we had 8 straight days with sub-zero lows in the single digits, teens, and 20s below zero. Not only were these record lows in some cases, but the coldest temperatures that we've seen in 23 years, including readings of 26 below in Green Bay and Appleton. We had 28 below in Fond du Lac. In Wautoma, the temperature hit 32 degrees below zero. And of course, you got to factor in gusty winds with those bitterly cold temperatures. We had wind chills on the morning of January 30th that approached 60 degrees below zero in Wautoma. We hit 54 below zero in Appleton, and Green Bay had a wind chill of 47 degrees below zero.
Help, I'm on the highway. There's a huge accident, a huge car. I'm so scared.
Get back in your vehicle. Get back in your vehicle.
Panicked 911 calls, one after another. 119 vehicles were involved in the crash on Interstate 41. One person was killed in the pileup amid whiteout conditions.
It was the largest crash site in state history.
And we're learning more about the man who was killed in that crash. Andrew Schafelker was a teacher at Iola Scandinavia, and so much more to so many people. For the first time, we're talking with his parents. He was a teacher. He was an Eagle Scout. He was well loved. Andrew Schafelker was the person who died in the I-41 pileup in Winnebago County. His parents, Perry and Diane Schafelker, live in southern Illinois.
He's in a perfect place, and we know as Christians that someday we will join him there in heaven with God, and that's what keeps us going on a day-to-day basis.
A football smile as a boy, and a football smile as a man. Even in their pain, the Schafelkers mustered a smile while telling a story about Andrew, whom they adopted.
We were so blessed to have him. We brought him home when he was 14 days old. And he was just the joy of our life until Nathan came along 4 years later. So we were very blessed to have him as part of our life.
The final report on the crash is not yet done. The Schafelkers, though, say they might never know exactly what happened.
We miss him every day. You know, a part of our heart is gone for it. You know, there's going to be that emptiness in our lives for our family. But we can't be sad in some ways because we know he's happy.
And Andrew's family sent us examples of the support they've received after Andrew's death, letters and other memories. To read examples, go to our website, NBC26.com, and click on Relentless, A Winter to Remember.
Rapid snow melt and heavy rainfall forced hundreds in northeast Wisconsin to evacuate after their homes filled with floodwater.
NBC 26's Ryan Curry spent an entire week covering that flooding and the flooding's victims.
It's going to take us a while to recover and to get back on track after this.
For many, it was the worst week of the year, when floodwaters forced residents in Fond du Lac and Green Bay to leave valuables behind as water started to creep in homes.
We've had some flooding here before, coming around the wall. This came over the wall.
On March 14th, ice jams in Fond du Lac caused water to seep over canals and onto city streets. The flooding so bad, over 300 residents were forced to evacuate, many of them rescued by boat.
Firefighters or whoever had the rafts came by and took the two of us and our dog down the street. A Good Samaritan neighbor took us to our father-in-law's house to stay for a couple days.
That same night in Green Bay, a similar story, as the East River overflowed onto city streets, forcing 60 people to evacuate and leaving many homes to be condemned for weeks.
This one came in a rush. I mean, honestly, it came in a rush. And it was just coming in on all four sides.
Utilities like water heaters, furnaces, and carpets all having to be replaced. But the hardest part for residents is moving on from irreplaceable keepsakes that were damaged by the water.
Everything was destroyed in there. I mean, we had 2-3 extra beds that's for, you know, people that come and visit and stuff like that. Extra clothing, pictures, souvenirs, and all that stuff. It's all lost.
Keeping you connected, Ryan Curry, NBC 26.
When talk of snowstorms and negative numbers turned into when can I hit the links or get the grill out, we knew that a rite of spring was headed our way. Flooding. We just didn't realize how bad that flooding was going to be, but there were 3 triggers for the severe flooding that we saw across northeast Wisconsin in March. We had a deep snowpack with high water content. We had an inch of rain that fell on top of the snow, and then temperatures warmed up into the 40s and 50s. On Sunday, March 10th, our snow depth was 12 inches. By the 15th, it was all the way down to an inch with the rapid snow melt. At one point or another, almost every river across northeast Wisconsin had a river flood warning, including the East River, where the river rose 8 feet in just a matter of hours, producing the worst flooding in the Green Bay metropolitan area in decades. We also had historic flooding on other area rivers. The Manitowoc River, the Kewaunee River, and also the Sheboygan River had their highest crest on record.
No matter how bad the weather gets, we can always find a way to have fun in the cold.
Layers. A lot of layers.
That's next.
For a while there, it seemed like Mother Nature was going to let us get away with a mild winter. But once the snow started to fall, it just wouldn't stop.
And then it was time to make the most of it, right? NBC 26's Juliana Falk shows us how people had fun in the snow.
Like Calumet Snow Trails, a club that grooms and maintains more than 125 miles of county trails. But this wasn't the first year they were worried about snowfall. Last year, they didn't open their trails at all, and the year before, they weren't open for more than 24 hours.
When you put all the work into it and you don't get to use them, it becomes kind of depressing.
So when they finally opened the trails at the end of January, even the extreme cold could not stop them from spending the days on their snowmobiles.
People are braving the cold because they just love to do it. You know, they got the time in, they can go out and enjoy it.
Juliana Falk, NBC 26.
From snowmobiles to pond hockey. Yeah. It's the coldest weekend in February. There you go. Deep in the north woods of Wisconsin. This is the USA Pond Hockey National Championship in Eagle River, a tournament that draws players from all over the country.
There's 12 of us that flew here from Phoenix, from Houston, Chicago,
California.
In the 14th year of the tournament, temperatures dipped as low as -30 without wind chill. That's cold enough to crack the ice, literally. And still, play continues.
I mean, the ice is not the greatest, so it's a little sloppy, but it's good. It's well worth it, and we love it, and we're going to come back until our bodies fall apart.
In Eagle River, Chris Barrier, NBC 26.
As we wave goodbye to this winter, it's never too early to get ready for next year as far as making sure your home's ready and some tips so you're always prepared for a winter emergency.
We have all that information located on our website, NBC26.com. Thanks for watching our winter weather special, Relentless, a winter to remember. I'm Nina Sperano.
And I'm John Erickson. Good night.